I'm William Bryson. I'm the founder and the owner of the crew. You're listening to the Crew Podcast. Next up, the Darkhorse of the crew, my man, Wesley. So we are back. Again, this is the Crew Podcast that you're listening to. And today, our guest is the Darkhorse of the crew, as we call him, the one, the only, Wesley L. Wesley, welcome to the podcast.
What up, America?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm fabulous, man. A little tired from hitting the gym, but hey, you know me, the show must go on. Let's party.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting podcast. And, of course, we did the pilot with Nell the other day. So we're going to do this in parts. Of course, part one, we're going to talk about a variety of subjects just over the next 45 minutes. So, like me and you talked about, we're going to hit all the hard-hitting questions. I think this is going to be one of the only podcasts, and nothing against Nell or myself or anybody that's going to do it going forward. But you have a following. I mean, you have a real following with with the ladies, of course.
Man, that's what everybody say, man. I don't see what y'all see. I need to look at the documents and the paperwork y'all looking at.
Yeah. And then, of course, also with the fellas, and of course, I know you go back like that. So let's jump right into it. So let's talk about family. And one of the things that I think me and you have in common really the most is our upbringing. We were both raised by strong fathers. And
No doubt.
And I think that's one thing that I definitely respect about you. And I know people that know you respect about you as well. Your father, of course, when we talk about old school for us was like back in the 80s and 90s, so that was kind of when our fathers were no nonsense. Was your father like that with you?
Oh, man, my pops was as old school of a throwback as you could possibly come with, man. My pops was I can show you better than I can tell you type guy. And if he had to show you something, man, I tell you didn't want to see that show again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hey, I do. Trust me, I had that kind of father. One of the things that I know we talked about, and of course, like I said, I've known you for years, but for the people that don't, tell everybody, because you have a brother and a sister, correct?
Yeah, I actually have two brothers and two sisters, man. I got a brother that stays out here with me in Kansas City. I have two sisters out there in California. My oldest sister, shout out to Cali, baby. And I got another brother out there in Cali, man. He was raised with my family, so I consider him blood and family, man. So, two brothers, two sisters, man. You couldn't ask for a better team. Yeah,
you really couldn't. And I got to tell you, I definitely, when I look at pictures or when I talk to you just outside of this, I can see the love you have for both your brother and your sisters. You're both your brothers and your sister. That leads me to my next subway with you. And one thing that I have the utmost respect, because you are, we talk about our fathers being strong-minded. And of course, who would have thought when we were growing up, back in the day, that we would end up being fathers?
Hey, man, you know what? That was a shock to me because being a young man at 18 years old, you have no idea what it actually means to be a father. So to look at that growing up and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be a dad at this age. You would have never thought that for yourself, man. And like we always say, man, that strong upbringing. I thank my dad for everything that he showed me, because he gave me a handbook. Because there's no real handbook on being a parent, but there
no
is.
doubt.
You know what I mean? You know how it is,
man. I do, yeah.
At least he laid down the foundation as far as, hey, when it comes to loving your children and taking care of your children and looking out for your children, this is where you start. Where you end up is up to you. Right.
Now, I have kind of chronicled your from the day that your son was born to just recently, because now he's in the Army, correct?
Yes, sir. Military, man. It scared me half to death, but what scared me more was trying to deny him something that he wanted. So yeah, military man, shout out to that kid.
Yeah, I can definitely see the love in that, man. And like I said, I definitely, first and foremost, as a father myself, I have a lot of respect for that. My son, who is, 14 going on 15, I couldn't even imagine. So, a big shout out to you, man, on that.
Appreciate it.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about too, and I know we joke about this, and later on in this podcast, we're going to get into some of the stuff that me and you just been through. But you're the only person that I literally will get emails about, and they'll ask me questions. And when I joke about the ladies and stuff like that, I joke, but some of it's true. You have a following. I don't think you're a cult leader by no means.
Oh man, I don't know, man. For me to have a strong following of women, it would have to be called a cult of something, man. Because I think my game fell off a couple of years back, maybe several years back. So now I just talk nonsense, and hope some of them like it.
But you know what though? But you can also give that as a testament to your mother, because again, the way that, and like my mother, my mother raised us in such a way that, you just attract that. It's the way that you're treated as you're a child,
Exactly.
by strong women. And of course, with my 4 sisters, my mother, that's kind of why I've always been kind of gravitational pull, so to speak, towards women. One of the questions that I got an email, and again,
Wait a minute, these outside questions?
Yeah, so I got an email, because the people ask, so I told you, hard-hitting questions. It's the podcast, baby. It's the podcast.
Hey, look, it's hard-hitting because I didn't get to review these questions, but let's get it.
So one of the questions is because again, you are single, and are you ever gonna fall in love? And if you are, what are you looking for? What type of female, what type of chick is going to just make Wesley be like, okay, that's the one?
Hey man, I'd be one of them lying guys with my chest stuck out, man, if I ever sat back and told you that I've never been in love. You know what I mean? That's crazy, because as a teenager, you always have that first love that shows you, wow, women are great. So you always have that first one as a teenager, and as I got a little older, I found it again. But as far as I am, man, you know me, I'm a straight shooting guy.
Yeah.
I like to have fun. I like to enjoy life. I try and live it up as best as I can. And when it comes down to a woman, I need a woman that's gonna help me to continue to enjoy myself.
Right.
But at the same time, there's certain things that you have to bring to the table that's gonna attract me, because I'm an outgoing guy. So you definitely have to be outgoing. Next after that, who would lie and say that, you don't have to be good looking? You definitely have to be good looking, or I'm not going to look at you to begin with. Sorry, ladies, just telling the truth. But then again, you have to have something more than your looks that's going for yourself. Man.
Right.
You got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and know what you want for yourself, and be hungry enough to go get it. Because if you're not hungry enough to go for it yourself, how are you going to help me to be better? And then being in a relationship is being with somebody that you can consider your best friend, because every move they make is for you, and every move that they make is to make you better. So, I always gravitate to strong women that have things going for themselves, that are ready to challenge themselves, because every day I wake up, I try and make my life a challenge. And if I'm going to set myself up with somebody and be in a situation with somebody to where I'm like, hey, we're a team, we need to have the same team goal. The team goal is to become better at all costs. We can work on everything else in between, but it starts with us being better, and it ends with us being better. You know what I mean, brother?
One of the things that, and I've said this to you, off camera, and I've also said this to you, anytime we got together and talked, you and I, out of everybody, and like I said, no disrespect on anybody else, but we have a lot in common as far as common goals and where we want to go, 10 years from now, where we want to be. One of the things that I find most interesting about you is that you love to travel.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir. I try to do much of it as I can.
And you love to travel. So you actually, and like I said, it takes an entrepreneur mindset to, to, like I said, build a company or to take a chance on anything, no matter what it is. You have recently started doing this Where is Wesley World Tour, correct?
Yeah. For anybody that's seen it or anything like that, it's just something that I jumped into. It's the Where the Hell is Wesley Hill tour. That's something that I threw together. Just, like you said, man. I'm one of them individuals that like to travel, and for them people that can't travel and don't have that opportunity, I still want people to be able to see the world at least through my eyes, if that is all possible.
Right, and so really. Anybody, and it's kind of a plug for you, but anybody can join that, right?
Yeah, man. Anybody can join it. As of right now, there's people on Facebook. If I'm not mistaken, there's over 100 and something people that like the page. So if you're friends with anybody that likes the page, or you see anything that's being shared, by all means, jump right in there and enjoy the scenery, man. Enjoy seeing what you see.
Yeah, and if you wanna take a trip with Wesley to like Mexico or Canada or something, I'm sure he ain't gonna mind that, When we come back, because we're gonna take a short break, but when we come back, we're gonna talk about a couple things. Number one, your love for the Raiders.
This might get chippy, man.
Yeah. Your love for the Raiders, because I love them Chiefs. We're going to talk also about California, because, again, you have a love for that state as well, and I'm with you on that. And then also, you're a huge fan of The Walking Dead.
Yes, sir, man. Anything zombie related, I love it.
And then we're also going to talk about the crew, the formation of the crew, your involvement and your role in it. And then, like I said, the thoughts on what we have in common as well. So there's a lot more to come with Wesley, Darkhorse of the crew. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
All right, I will be right back.
Hi, this is Nell Owen, a.k.a. Styx, and you're listening to the Crew Podcast on YouTube.